Imagine the vast, untouched landscapes of Alaska, a place where nature reigns supreme. Yet, even in this remote wilderness, tragedy can strike unexpectedly. Recently, in this setting of immense natural beauty, a 54-year-old woman died, not from a rare or exotic disease that you might expect in such a place, but from a treatable STI, gonorrhea, a disease that, with proper care, should never be fatal. Her death is more than just a statistic. It's a stark and unsettling warning, a warning that we cannot afford to ignore no matter where we live or what our circumstances may be. It shows just how dangerous it is to ignore or underestimate the potential severity of STIs. These infections, often perceived as minor inconveniences, can have devastating consequences if left unchecked. Many people think of gonorrhea as a minor infection, easily cured with a simple course of antibiotics. They believe it's something that can be quickly resolved and forgotten, but untreated, or when complications arise, it can become deadly, leading to severe health problems and, in rare cases, even death. The consequences are real and should not be taken lightly. One of the most insidious aspects of gonorrhea is that most people don't realize that it often has no noticeable symptoms, especially in women. This lack of symptoms allows it to silently spread within the body, causing severe and irreversible harm before anyone even realizes there's a problem. It's a silent threat that can have long-lasting repercussions. The woman's risk factors, IV drug use, which can compromise the immune system and increase vulnerability to infections, and multiple sexual partners, made her significantly more vulnerable to contracting and experiencing complications from the infection. These factors created a perfect storm of risk. But this isn't about judgment or assigning blame. It's about understanding the complex interplay of risk factors and the importance of proactive healthcare. Her story serves as a wake-up call, a stark reminder that we cannot afford to be complacent about our sexual health. Untreated STIs can escalate quickly from manageable infections to life-threatening conditions, highlighting the critical need for early detection and intervention. We need to foster a culture where we can talk openly and honestly about sexual health, without shame or embarrassment. We must break the stigma surrounding STIs and encourage regular testing as a routine part of healthcare, just like any other preventative screening. This tragedy was, in all likelihood, preventable with timely screening and treatment. Knowledge is power, and early action is crucial. They are the keys to saving lives and preventing unnecessary suffering. Let's use her story not to instill fear, but to educate and raise awareness about the real risks associated with STIs. Let's empower individuals to take control of their health, rather than shaming them for their circumstances or choices. Regular testing, coupled with open and honest conversations with healthcare providers and partners, are our best defense against the spread and potentially devastating consequences of STIs. Don't wait for symptoms to appear, because, as we've seen, they may never come. Take control of your sexual health now, for your own well-being and for the well-being of those you care about. It's a simple step that can make all the difference. Let's delve into the basics of a very common sexually transmitted infection, gonorrhea. It's important to understand what it is, how it spreads, and what the potential consequences are if left untreated. This knowledge empowers you to make informed decisions about your sexual health and well-being. Gonorrhea is caused by the bacterium Neisseria gonorrhoeae. This microscopic organism is the culprit behind this widespread infection, and understanding its nature is the first step in combating its spread. It spreads primarily through vaginal, anal, or oral sex. Any form of sexual contact can potentially transmit the bacteria. Transmission can occur, even without ejaculation. This highlights the importance of consistent protection during any sexual activity. The presence of the bacteria is the key factor, not the act of ejaculation itself. The bacteria infect the reproductive tract, including the cervix, uterus, and fallopian tubes in women, and the urethra in both men and women. It can also infect the mouth, throat, eyes, and rectum, demonstrating the wide range of potential infection sites. One of the most concerning aspects of gonorrhea is that most people, especially women, have no noticeable symptoms in the early stages. This often makes it a silent infection, allowing it to spread unknowingly and potentially cause long-term health complications if left unaddressed. When symptoms do appear, they're often mild and easily mistaken for other conditions, which can delay diagnosis and treatment. These symptoms can include burning urination, unusual discharge from the penis or vagina, or bleeding between periods in women. Untreated, gonorrhea can cause serious health problems, particularly for women, including pelvic inflammatory disease, PID, which can lead to infertility. It spreads easily through direct contact with infected bodily fluids during sexual activity and can be passed from mother to baby during childbirth, posing significant risks to the newborn. This can lead to serious complications, risking blindness or joint infections in newborns. Therefore, regular testing is the only reliable way to know for sure if you're infected, especially if you are sexually active. Many individuals carry and spread gonorrhea unknowingly, contributing to its continued prevalence in the population. This silent spread is a major factor fueling rising rates of gonorrhea infections worldwide. The good news is that gonorrhea is curable with antibiotics, if caught and treated early. Early detection is key to preventing long-term complications. It's crucial to take all medication exactly as prescribed by your doctor, even if you start feeling better before the course is finished. Furthermore, it's essential to make sure all sexual partners are also tested and treated to prevent reinfection and further spread. Regular testing and prompt treatment are essential to break the chain of transmission and protect yourself and your community from the harmful effects of gonorrhea. Gonorrhea, while often presenting with localized symptoms, can sometimes lead to more widespread complications if left untreated. The bacteria responsible for the infection, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, doesn't always stay confined to its initial site of entry. If gonorrhea isn't treated promptly and effectively, the bacteria can escape the initial site and travel through the bloodstream, venturing far beyond its original location. This is where the infection takes a dangerous turn. This rare but severe complication is called disseminated gonococcal infection, or DGI. It's a systemic infection, meaning it affects the entire body, not just the genitals or initial point of contact. DGI turns a local infection into a body-wide emergency. It requires immediate medical attention to prevent potentially life-threatening consequences. The rapid spread of the bacteria throughout the body can overwhelm the immune system. Symptoms of DGI can be quite varied and often differ significantly from the typical symptoms of uncomplicated gonorrhea. These include fever, chills, and a general feeling of being unwell. Skin rashes, which may appear as small, red, or purplish spots on the skin. These rashes are often painful or tender to the touch. And severe joint pain, very different from typical gonorrhea. This joint pain can be migratory, meaning it moves from one joint to another, and it can be excruciating. DGI can cause life-threatening conditions like endocarditis, heart infection, an inflammation of the inner lining of the heart chambers and valves, or meningitis, brain infection, an inflammation of the membranes surrounding the brain and spinal cord. Both of these conditions are extremely serious and require immediate and aggressive treatment. These complications require immediate hospitalization and IV antibiotics. The antibiotics are administered intravenously to ensure they reach the bloodstream quickly and effectively combat the widespread infection. DGI is rare, especially with increased awareness and testing for STIs. However, its potential severity underscores the importance of early detection and treatment of gonorrhea. But it's a powerful reminder: no STI should be ignored. Taking swift action is crucial for preventing the development of DGI and other serious health problems. The body's immune system sometimes can't contain the bacteria, especially in the early stages of infection, allowing it to spread more easily. Especially if weakened by other factors such as underlying health conditions, immune-suppressing medications, or other infections. Early treatment of gonorrhea prevents DGI and saves lives. A simple course of antibiotics can effectively eliminate the bacteria and prevent the infection from spreading. Don't wait for symptoms to worsen or for complications to arise. The sooner you seek medical attention, the better the outcome will be. Seek care at the first sign of trouble. This includes any unusual discharge, pain, or discomfort in the genital area. Even a simple STI can become deadly if left unchecked. The consequences of neglecting an STI can be devastating, leading to chronic pain, infertility, and even death. Prevention and early action are critical. Regular STI screenings, safe sexual practices, and prompt treatment are essential for protecting your health and the health of your partners. The Alaska woman's story began with joint pain and a rash, classic signs of DGI. Her risk factors, IV drug use and multiple partners, made her more susceptible. The infection spread rapidly, overwhelming her body and causing multi-organ failure. Despite hospitalization, the damage was irreversible. Her death was preventable. Early diagnosis and antibiotics could have saved her. This case is a stark reminder that DGI, though rare, is real and deadly. Routine STI screening and prompt attention to unusual symptoms are essential. Don't ignore joint pain or rashes, especially if you have risk factors. Vigilance saves lives. This tragedy happened as STI rates are rising across the U.S., especially in Alaska. Alaska's gonorrhea rate is nearly 3 times the national average. Factors like remote geography, substance use, and limited healthcare access fuel the crisis. More infections mean more chances for severe complications like DGI. The surge strains healthcare resources and highlights gaps in prevention. Reduced public health funding, less condom use, and the opioid crisis all play a role. Addressing this requires education, access to testing, and open conversations. We must act now to reverse the trend. Anyone sexually active can get gonorrhea, but some are at higher risk for DGI. IV drug use weakens the immune system and provides a direct path for bacteria. Multiple or anonymous partners increase exposure risk, especially without condoms. Women are more likely to develop DGI, partly because their infections are often silent. Pregnancy and certain health conditions like HIV also raise the risk. A history of STIs signals ongoing risk behaviors and higher exposure. Recognize your risk factors and take them seriously. Practice safer sex and get screened regularly. Awareness is the first step to protection. Health officials urge regular gonorrhea testing for anyone sexually active, especially those at higher risk. Women under 25 or older women with new or multiple partners should get tested yearly. Pregnant individuals need screening at their first prenatal visit. Men who have sex with men should be tested annually at all sites of sexual contact. Heterosexual men may need testing if they have risk factors or live in high-prevalence areas. Anyone with symptoms or possible exposure should seek testing immediately. Honest conversations with healthcare providers help determine your testing needs. Testing is self-care, not shame. Prevention is your strongest defense. Abstain or be in a mutually monogamous relationship with a tested partner. Use condoms correctly and consistently for all types of sex. Fewer partners means lower risk. Talk openly with partners about sexual health and testing. If diagnosed, get treated promptly and follow your doctor's instructions. Notify partners so they can get treated too. Prevention and regular screening keep you and your community safe. The Alaska case is a sobering lesson. STIs can be deadly if ignored. Don't underestimate the risks. What seems minor can become life-threatening. Education and awareness are your best tools. Normalize conversations about sexual health with partners and providers. If you're sexually active, especially with risk factors, make STI testing routine. Don't wait for symptoms. Early detection saves lives. Testing is simple, confidential, and life-saving. Protect yourself and your community by getting tested and using protection. Let this story motivate you to take action, not just for yourself, but for others. Your health is in your hands. Don't delay.